Hey guys, Turn the Dog here, welcome back to In today's episode, we are playing some Find the Doge 2. A long time ago, I ranked all bosses in this game, and do you know what else there's a lot of? Hard Doges. That's why in today's episode, we will be ranking hard Doges. Now, before we begin, there is a beehive at spawn, and I kind of don't have Doge, so I'm gonna try to quickly do it, though I know I'm not able to, because it's total RNG. So look at this. Look, I'm clicking on them. It's not doing anything. Click on them. I'm clicking on them. Like, seriously, what? Yeah, that Doge is basically impossible. I'm never gonna get it. Okay, anyways. We are going to be ranking hard Doges. Also, we will be not ranking FNaD Doges because they're all basically the same and also I don't have most of them. While I do have or know the location of most of them. Most of the non-FNaD ones. In total, there are 12 non-FNaD hard Doges. There's 11 on the checklist, and there's Craftmaster Doge, which for some reason isn't on the hard Doge checklist despite being a hard Doge. And yes, it says I have 12 because I do actually have some FNaD Doges. So whatever, let's just begin. The first Doge on our list is Cousins Doge, which Cousins Doge I would say is basically the basis for a good hard Doge. It's not bad, it's not really good, it's just good. Now, basically, all you know about Cousins Doge is search the trees. If you look in the VIP hints area, you get search the trees. If you look on YouTube, you get search the trees. If you look on Discord, you get search the trees. And that's basically the whole thing about Cousins Doge. You just search the trees. There's no real puzzle. There's nothing that really makes it a hard Doge. You just search the map. You search the trees. After that, you insert the code that you got from the trees in a certain place. I can't say because it's hard Doge. And you also don't know what that place is. So first you search the trees for a code, and then you search for a place where you can put in the key. And then you do an obby as a final challenge. Now, the obby's pretty good. I mean, yeah, it's pretty good. Basically, that's all it is. It's just a regular obby. It's sort of buggy. Like, once I died and got teleported to the next checkpoint despite reaching it. But, like, it's... As I said, it's an alright hard Doge. You look for a code, you look for a place to put in the code, and then you do a final challenge. No real puzzle, but at the same time, it isn't bad. So I put it in, like, a B tier. And, okay, anyways, our... Tiers are S, A, B, C, D, and F. So I'd say B tier is pretty good. As I said, the basis for like a good hard Doge. Not a really good one, just a good one. So what's the next one? We're going in checklist order, and I don't actually know. Next is the Doge. And the Doge probably has to be my favorite hard Doge in the game. It's not perfect, like basically every hard Doge in this game, but I would say it's executed well enough to get a tier that I'm going to say at the end, because first I want to say what it's like. So for the Doge, basically everyone knows you have to solve 3 riddles. Now, there's no real hint outside of the VIP room for where that is, so it's kind of trial and error, but like, badge hunt games basically aren't meant to be done legit. You can do them legit, but there's a point where you're just not gonna be able to. It gets hard. And like, if you ask anyone for a small hint, they're gonna give you the hint of clouds. And once you know that, you can pretty much figure it out with some trial and error. I just wish there was some official hint. Like, even in the description, like Bentley and Cooper have a hint in the description. Why couldn't Duh have one, like explore the clouds? And yeah, after that you do the third riddle, 3 riddles, and they're basically perfect. So, except for the third one. The first one is a pretty cool and creative puzzle. It just has some trial and error in it, because one of the parts is you have to figure out what Space's least favorite Doge is, and it doesn't say that anywhere in the game. Like, if you look in the description of a Doge, it doesn't say this is Space's least favorite Doge in the game. He doesn't know why this is in the game, even because he hates it. But if you're on the Discord, then you probably heard him saying how bad the Doge is about a few times. I still don't know why. It's actually a pretty good Doge. But I'm not gonna say too much about it because that would be spoiling it. Overall, the first riddle is about a B tier. The second riddle, I would say, is an S tier. It's a really good puzzle. I figured it out instantly, but I heard many people getting challenged by it. There's only one part I don't like about it, and that's actually doing it. Figuring out the riddle is fun. Just actually doing it is really annoying because it requires a really annoying Doge. The third riddle is the one that is crap though. You have to find the star. No, it doesn't tell you where the star is. It doesn't give you a hint or a riddle. It just find the star. It's so bad, it's F tier. After finally finding the star, you have to do a really hard obby, which is sort of like the Egg Hunt 2018 15 egg obby, and it's really cool, and I think it's a good final challenge for a really good Doge like the Doge. And while the Doge is not perfect, I would say that it's what a hard Doge in this game should be like, because after all, this is not this is not a game with 10k people playing it. This is a small game, and for a Doge, it's really actually impressive and my favorite hard Doge in the game, even though it's not perfect and Riddle Tree sucks. Next is Cooper Doge. Cooper Doge has one of the best and worst puzzles in all Find the Doge Heads 2. Cooper starts off as a really good Doge, but sadly does not end as a really good Doge. The first step requires you solving some Morse code and then saying that in a specific place. Solving Morse code is really cool. I never did it, and it was a cool experience trying to figure it out, as I never did something like that. And it was cool that playing games like these gets me to solve these ciphers and learn about stuff like that, because like before playing this game I was like binary, Morse code, yeah, those things exist. Now I know about base 64, base 32, hexadecimal, A1, Z26, T9, all of these weird different ciphers, and it's all because of these badge hunt games and so on. And yeah, it's cool to be able to solve puzzles like these. Then you say it in a specific place, which you don't know what that place is, but there's enough small hints in the game to let you know what that place is. I actually figured out the code twice, but the first one I wasn't able to find the location, but the second one I finally figured out the puzzle, and I was really impressive when I said the code phrase in the chat and it actually did something, only to find out that the second puzzle is the exact same puzzle, but worse. So yeah, the first puzzle required you solving a Morse code to say a phrase in a certain place that you don't know what it is. The second one, on the other hand, tells you the exact place you should say it in and the exact phrase. All you have to do is go to that place and say it. There's no puzzle. It's like an F tier puzzle. Like, why? What was it that hard to just give you Cooper Doge after the first puzzle, or at least make some final challenge obby like Cousins, or at least make a good puzzle? But no, it does that. And the thing is, it says its exact location, but by exact location I mean area. So let's say that it's in planet 9, which it's not. It just says, say it in planet 9. So you have to go all over planet 9 just finding it. There's no puzzle for the second part. The second part is not a puzzle. It's literally annoying trial and error. You literally just have to spam the chat hoping you find the correct place. The third one is even worse. Let's say the second one is it's hidden in planet 9. Well, then the third one is it's hidden by a wall. The third one is so specific, it could literally be anywhere. The reason I knew it is because someone was trying to get it and it was spamming the code phrase in the chat while being in the place that it's in. And it's just so stupid, like, it starts off such good and then ends up to say this in there. Like, why? And for what would have probably been an S tier hard Doge, is actually an F tier hard Doge, for making me think it's good when it's actually crap. Seriously, Space, you could have made it better. Next we have Bentley Doge. And if Cousin's Doge is the basis for a good hard Doge, then Bentley is the basis for a hard Doge. There shouldn't be anything that's worse than Bentley. Basically, anything that's better than Bentley is a good hard Doge, and anything worse than Bentley shouldn't be a Doge because it's unfun. As everyone knows, Bentley involves running into trees with small differences about them, and that's basically it. That's the whole puzzle. You you find the thing that you are looking for, and then you do that in a bunch of different biomes. The whole challenge is just finding the thing. And the thing is that I actually found the thing before. I just didn't know what it is. Like, I did the thing it tells you to, and then it disappeared. And that's it. I was like, oh, it disappeared. It's probably for some normal Doge. But no, it's actually for a hard Doge. And yeah, that's basically all you do. You find the thing, and you're like, oh, that's for Bentley Doge. And then you go around looking for the thing in other biomes. I guess you could call it a hard Doge, but it's not really. It's just finding some stuff on some trees. It's pretty easy if you actually try to get it. I gave my friend a small hint for it, and then I looked for it with him. I mean, by looked for it with him, I was just following him while he tries to get it, and he made it really, really far. He just got stuck on a certain one that's kind of hard to reach because he wasn't able to reach it because it's kind of annoying, and he just gave up. He probably could have gotten it though if he spent more time. Anyways, if Cousins got a B tier, then Bentley gets a C tier, which, as I said, it's the minimum a hard Doge should have. If not, it shouldn't be in the game because it's really unfun, like Cooper, which could have been fun but isn't. Next we have Bodoge, F tier. Bodoge. Well, so you know how the Doge is the best hard Doge in the game? Well, Bodoge is the Doge but bad. So, everyone basically knows that Bodoge is hidden in the same place as the Doge. Except the thing is, it's really, really stupid. Let's say this is Lost Space, the obby of the Doge, and this is a random piece of the void. You jump in it, and you get Bodoge. Now, it's not like that. You don't just jump into the void in a random place in the obby. It's a specific place that if if someone gave you a hint, die in a specific part of Lost Space, you could probably think of it. But it's still stupid. The Doge is such a good Doge, but I don't want to do it twice. Bodoge is just like, oh, the Doge was a good Doge. Let's make it again, but this time worse. There's no real puzzle, there's no real hints. Literally everyone knows the solution of Bodoge. If you have the Doge, you can get Bodoge. There's no reason for it to exist. It's literally just a free hard Doge if you have the Doge, and that's why it gets an F tier. Basically, it shouldn't exist. That's a nice chain of coins. Next, we have Admin Doge, which recently got revamped, but the revamp still doesn't really make him much better, and it still includes some of the trial and error that the original puzzle had. So you start off by finding 3 certain things around the map. 2 of the things are pretty normal to find. Like, if you were just casually looking through the whole map, you would probably find them eventually. The thing is just, there's no real hint, and like Cousins, it's basically just an hunt. One of them is so stupid, though. It's basically just Space being like, I don't want the community to get the revamped Admin Doge too quickly, so let's hide this one in a really stupid place. The second part is literally just old Admin Doge, which I don't know why Space added that first part. I guess it was just like, I don't want people who already have Admin Doge to check the revamp out instantly, because that would be a waste of having the revamp, since the new people wouldn't have a reason to get it or whatever, something like that. And basically, the problem with old Admin Doge is it's entirely RNG. The first part, you go through bushes in a certain order, that's RNG. The second part, you run into a certain thing, that's RNG. The third part, you click on a certain window in a certain place, that's RNG. Basically, all of it is trial and error. The only reason people are able to get it legit is because of hints. So while the first part because of the third one that's kind of weird. I would say it's a C tier. The second one's an F tier. But honestly, the original admin Doge was bad, but I would say the revamped one, while being basically the same thing with a new step, I'm pretty sure there's some changes to make it less RNG. Like, for example, the bushes that are required to go through the order only appear after doing the first step. So I'd say it's probably like a C tier. Like, I'd say it could be considered an admin Doge. Like, it has the same vibe as a Doge. It has multiple steps. It has the first puzzle's pretty alright. It has a final room. It's not an obby or anything, just a final room. So I'd say it's C tier. It's not exactly great. It could be way, way better. But I wouldn't exactly say it's the worst thing on earth. So now we're done 6 of the 12 hard doges, so before we continue, let's take a water break because I'm about to die from talking this much, because this whole video is literally just me ranting about hard doges, or not ranting if it's a good hard doge. Okay, now that I drank some water, let's continue with the second half of the hard doges. Remember, always keep water with you. You never know when you might need it. Oh, great, there's a blizzard. Okay, the 7th Doge on the list is Universal Doge, and while Universal Doge is a good idea, it doesn't have the best execution, which seems to be basically what all of the hard doges in this game are like. So as everyone knows, which I'm supposed to say for every hard doge, because as you know, I'm not allowed to reveal the exact location of them because it's against the rules. Universal Doge requires you to get 3 keys and take them to a certain place. We are going to be reviewing the 3 keys and that certain place. Bronze key is probably the best of the 3 keys. The puzzle is pretty good, just the thing is that it is 2 things. The first is that it's a quiz, and the quiz is really glitchy. Like, I know the solution, and I tried to enter it in like 12 times, and it only worked once, which required me to have to cheese it with a jetpack since I literally know the solutions to the quiz. I just can't enter them. Though others don't seem to have the bug, as I said, it's pretty broken. And another thing is it requires speed, which I'm pretty sure you need either extremely good quest luck or an extremely good pet, which, like, it's kinda hard. I don't know what I was going to say. It's just like getting a lot of speed is hard. Either you need to do some hard quest that gives you like 150 speed, or have a really good pet. Or you can literally just use VIP. So Universal is really hard for people who don't have VIP, but really easy. Well, it's easy to, like, you know what I mean, if you have VIP, which is just a thing I don't like, but like, it's not the worst thing on earth. I'd say it's like a B tier. Silver key is a F tier. Basically, you take a certain object and you hit it into another object. The thing is that literally the object randomly spawns very like not often in a random place. And that object is an object that if it's there, you just wouldn't ignore. You just wouldn't look. Okay, I don't know what I'm saying. So, like, here's an example. Okay. What's a good example for this? Okay, let's go to the pet shop. No, this isn't really a good example. Okay, let's say in here, suddenly there was just like, I don't know, there was suddenly like a candle here. Yeah, that. Let's say there was suddenly a candle here. You probably... Okay, if there was a candle in here, you would probably notice it because it's a little out of place. But let's say that in a place, there's just a random object that randomly spawns, like, And it's in such a place that if it was there, and even if you looked at it, you'll be like, oh, that was always there, right? And the thing is, you literally have to just hit it with a random object. And the thing is that in the hint for silver key, it literally tells you exactly how to do. The whole puzzle is just finding that object. And even if you find the place where it's in, there's a chance it's still not going to be spawned in. And guess what? And for the first puzzle, after you did it, you had to do a quiz. For the second one, guess what you have to do? And I'll be with 5 really easy jumps. And that's why silver key gets F tier. Hope you guys enjoyed my explanation. You're gonna understand it more if you actually have it, so I hope you do. Now gold key is also pretty bad, F tier. Basically, you have to find 3 things around the map. You don't know what they are. The hint literally tells you find 3 things around the map. What are those things? Nobody knows. You have to search the whole map for 3 small things. I have gold key, and because someone told me solution, and I literally found one of the things accidentally, and I asked someone what the other 2 was, and even after telling me the location, I couldn't find them. They literally had to point it to me because it was so like just impossible to see that I just couldn't. I was like, how is anyone supposed to find that? So is that it? No. After you press those 3 things, in a certain spot on the map, light Morse code plays. Yes, that's right. In a certain spot, not on your screen, in a certain spot, Morse code plays. You don't know what that spot is, you just have to go there and do it. And the thing is, it only plays once, so you have to basically know where it is. It isn't trial and error where you can just explore the map, because once you click the 3 things, it's just gonna play. You have to know where it is. And after all of that, you have to find an NPC who spawns once about 20 minutes, which after giving him the code, which you're gonna get from the Morse code, you have to do an obby that's pretty difficult in 1 attempt. And as I said, he spawns every 20 minutes. Meaning, if you want to do 3 attempts, that's basically an hour. Oh yeah, it's this guy. And he spawns like every 20 minutes. And as I said, if you want to do like 3 attempts, that's literally like 1 hour. And apparently it's even worse on mobile, I heard. So yeah. The final thing is the... Wait, let's just talk to this guy. The final thing is actually finding the location, which for it, you have to find a small button somewhere on the map. You have to find the small button on the map. The thing is, I already found this button like 100 times. I just didn't know it was for universal. And the thing is that even though once you press the button, you still have to do something. And if you have good eyesight, you can probably see what the button changed. But if you don't, it's gonna be pretty hard. So basically, the button isn't that good. It has no link to Universal. Like, there's nothing telling you this is the place for Universal. And it's also in a really random place that wouldn't make you think it's for Universal. And overall, basically, Universal is just an F tier Doge that I don't like. And Bronze Key is like the only somewhat good part about it. Okay, that was a long one. So let's get to... Oh no. Supernova Doge is the worst hard Doge in the game. It's also another one that involves the Doge because the Doge is a good Doge. Space decided, let's make literally every hard Doge after that involve the Doge, which is why Supernova Doge involves the Doge. The Doge is every good aspect of a hard Doge made bad. There's literally no part of Supernova Doge that made me enjoy it. What is the first part? For the first part, you have to do a really specific thing in an area probably nobody has been in more than 1 time, and you have to first get the Doge. Basically, meaning you need to do a really specific thing in an area nobody remembers exists, And even if you do it, you still need the Doge. And it's entirely trial and error. There's no VIP hint for it. There's no official hint for it. It's entirely trial and error. It's literally impossible without the help of the community. Now, surely it gets better after that. No, it doesn't. Now, you have to do a pretty difficult obby, which lasts about 10 minutes. And then you go into this capsule thing to go to the Supernova planet. This takes about 5 minutes. Take track of the time. That's about 15 minutes. Then you do another hard obby. Yes, that's right, a second hard obby. That's also probably gonna take you at least 10 minutes. That's already 25 minutes. And now we get to the worst part, the boss. So, the boss is literally probably the worst boss in this game. If you watched my video ranking bosses, you already know I hate the Supernova Doge boss. And here I'm gonna say it again. The Supernova Doge boss is trash. First of all, it lasts 40 minutes. And it's not 40 minutes of really hard endurance or anything. It's 40 minutes of running in a square to avoid Supernova's extremely easy attack pattern. That is literally impossible to die to unless it's like your first time and you're not ready or something, or you're like a mobile player who's really laggy. So yes, it's doing a bunch of obbies for a long time and then doing a really hard, annoying boss. Now, you might say, okay, the boss is bad, but the Doge, it doesn't seem that bad. Okay, well, as I said, the boss is 40 minutes long, and if you do a single mistake, like you mess up one time and you die, you don't have 3 lives, you die. And you don't get taken to the start of the second obby, or the first obby, you get taken back all the way. You just get kicked from the game. So, basically, imagine you, after getting through the obbies of 25 minutes and 30 minutes of the boss, you're finally at the last phase after an hour, and then you die. You have to do all of that 1 hours of really annoying, unfun gaming all over again. The fact that just one attempt takes an hour means that you're probably going to get no more than 2 attempts a day. You probably shouldn't need that many, but it's still annoying. I want to have fun while doing a hard doge, not do a 40-minute long, annoying, really boring, and easy boss. Glacius isn't exactly the best hard doge, as it has some trial and error parts, and also the difficulties kind of unbalanced, with the puzzles being mostly doable and then the final boss literally being like 10 times harder than the rest of it. But I would say it's definitely a better example of having a boss as a final challenge than Supernova, which is why Supernova gets F tier, and actually minus F tier, whatever's below F tier, just get Supernova Doge out of here. I never want to do it again, and I'm never going to do it again unless Space adds like Supernova Doge EXE, which in that case I'm probably gonna do it, but I'm gonna regret doing it after doing it. Okay, maybe we can finally get to a good one, because it seems like we're doing the Mutation, and the Mutation, yeah, it's a pretty good hard doge. Mostly everyone knows the general location what the Mutation is, except the thing is that the place where it's in is pretty big with a lot of things you could do, and the thing is you don't actually get a real canon hint or like official hint for the Mutation, meaning you literally have to keep on experimenting with literally everything in that area until you find it out, because the thing is, it's pretty random. It involves something that may seem out of place, but instead of doing like 10 things that you could probably do with that thing is out of place, you do the most random thing with it. If you looked at that and you'll be like, oh, that's out of place, maybe it's for the Mutation, the thing you're supposed to do is the last thing anyone would think of, and probably the only reason people have it is because admins gave them a hint. Like, the only reason I have it is because I got a hint with it. And the thing is, once you know what to... once you know what to do, it's basically just Tower Defense Simulator Secret Wave. Oh, I just revealed the location. I don't care though. Basically, everyone knows it. It's basically just Tower Defense Simulator Secret Wave. It basically you need 4 players with it. I'm pretty sure it's impossible with less than 4 players. Maybe it's possible with 3. Who knows? But you probably need 4 with it. And the fact you need 4 and it's not possible like 3 with 2 also adds a minus factor to it. But it's mostly a hard doge that's pretty good. So I'd say it's B tier, about the same tier as Cousins. Not great, not bad. It's an okay hard doge that I guess could be in the game. It's just, there's nothing really wrong with it. There's nothing big wrong with it. We're almost at the end. So now we are going to do Jericho Doge. Jericho Doge, I would say, is an S tier doge. It's really well made. I like the boss, I like the puzzles, and it was pretty fun hunting with it. Except when you look at it in a design standpoint, not from a me standpoint, because this is a 100% game-wise, non-biased review. I'm not going to be ranking a bad hard doge good just because I had a good experience with it. So even though I think Jericho Doge is pretty cool and I like it, it's not actually that good. Now, don't get me wrong, it's really well made. The boss is really good, but the thing is, getting to the boss isn't. And the only reason I like it is because I got a hint for the bad parts. Anyways, you have to look for 3 key fragments. The first hint is pretty self-explanatory and you should easily figure it out. Not the second and third ones though, because the second and third ones are all really dumb. The second one I still don't really understand, and apparently the community didn't either because everyone asked him for a different hint, so Space gave a different hint. And the different hint Space gave is, it's in an area nobody really remembers. And that's it. There's like 10 areas in the game that have like 1 doge and you've probably been in once. And, well, while the solution is actually in an area that nobody remembers exists, there's like 10 other areas nobody really remembers exist. So it's basically just trial and error. Though I guess it is one of the most forgetful areas in the whole game. The worst one is the third one. Remember how I said the riddle, the third step for Cooper is basically say something near a wall? Well, the third hint for the key fragment is basically water. Now, in case you didn't notice, the whole game's basically water. There's a bunch of sub-areas with water. The only reason probably people found this A by accident, because it's in a place a lot of people go to, or B, the people got so desperate they started looking through literally every single area in the game. There's no way someone read water and it's like, oh, it's definitely in that area. It's because there's like 100 places in the game with water in them. But at the same time, as I said, it's gameplay-wise, Jericho Doge is a really good doge. I'm not gonna give it S tier. I'm gonna give it B tier. Like, scripting-wise, like, how well it's made, it's S+, but gameplay-wise and overall-wise, non-biased-wise, and so on, it's B tier because it could be way better. The next doge is Astral Doge, except first I'm actually gonna do Craftmaster Doge, which is the hard doge that came together with Jericho Mutation and for some reason isn't on the hard doge checklist. It's F tier. You literally do a quest this is it. Craftmaster. Have all craftable items in your inventory at once. That's it. No puzzle, no nothing. It's literally just an extremely boring quest, and the only reason it's hard is because it requires the key fragments for Jericho. That's it. Nothing special about it. Literally nothing. Well, thankfully we are ending on a good doge with Astral Doge. as I previously mentioned, Glacius Dominus is the hard Doge of the 2021 Christmas event in Find the Doge Heads 2. It's a pretty good Doge, but gameplay-wise is not the best, with pretty trial and error parts, and especially a really big difficulty spike at the end. It ends with a really hard boss that is really hard for no apparent reason, and the only reason it's hard is because Space wanted it to be the hardest Doge in the game. Well, Glacius basically does that, but better. When deciding, every game should have an apparent genre. The thing with Badge Hunt, though, is that it doesn't have a genre. A badge hunt is literally a mix of all genres. A badge hunt is mainly puzzles, but it's also exploration. Oh, it's obby, it's bosses. Except it should be pretty balanced. Like, there shouldn't be a Doge like Glacius, which makes you do a bunch of puzzles and then a really hard boss. There should be some sort of balance. And that balance is exactly what Astral Doge is. First, for Astral, you have to craft the Astral Star. Doing it is really simple. Basically, someone who just played the game for the first time, well, not the first time, but someone who only has about 200 Doges could probably do it as long as he knows the whole map. It's really simple. I did it in like 30 minutes. It's just a simple puzzle. There's nothing really wrong with it. If there wasn't the second part, it could basically be its own Doge. Then the second part, you go into this bullet hell astral world, where you have to shoot a bunch of enemies Touhou style. It's really hard, but the thing is, unlike Glacius, it's really hard because that's the Doge. There's no previous really hard puzzle beside it and then a really hard boss. It's a pretty simple puzzle, just so that the boss isn't free to get to, and then it's the boss. And the fight itself is pretty well made. There's only a few bugs, like sometimes when I shoot bullets, they disappear, but other times they don't. It's a bit wacky to control, but except for that, I would say it's an S tier hard Doge. It starts off with a simple puzzle, has a hard yet fair and well-made fight and there's only a small few issues, as I said. Astral, in other words, is a really good hard Doge and a really good way to end this episode, because in case you didn't realize, that's the last hard Doge in today's episode. I hope you enjoyed. Remember to like and subscribe. I have talked for a really long time. I'm sorry if you've been expecting a guide this week, but I decided to make this because the last episode where I ranked bosses did really well, and that's it. Like and subscribe. See you in the next video. Bye.